In the grandiloquent arena of geopolitical discourse, destiny, armed with the quiver of dialectical arrows, embarks on a Herculean task, critiquing the exegesis of Kulinski on the Israel-Palestine conundrum.
I'm running out of ways to talk about this. And, you know, it's very defeating watching all this. Look, credit to everybody who's protesting on this. Credit to everybody who's really fighting to try to put a stop to it. It's worked in the sense that now you have the U.S. at least virtue signaling. Like, we're not for everything Israel's doing, but it's got to become action. It can't just be...
It's been action, right? We've delayed Israel actions. We've fought for more aid to go to the Gaza Strip. Okay.
Words. It can't just be words.
It's not just words.
So what we're witnessing here is, I'll just say, I think it's the worst thing we've seen since the... And I don't even think that's controversial if you just look at empirically look at the situation. Just...
Late 20th century sides. I'm just curious, because I don't know. Let's just look them up. Indonesian mass of 1965. Let's see. Indonesian 1965 things. Large-scale killings and civil unrest, primarily targeting members of the Communist Party, were carried out in Indonesia from 65 to 66. Other affected groups included alleged communist sympathizers, Jerwani women, trade unionists, ethnic Japanese, Abagan, ethnic Chinese, atheists, so-called unbelievers, and the alleged leftists in general. According to the most widely published estimates, at least 500,000 to 1.2 million people were killed, with some estimates going as high as 2 to 3 million. Okay, so the current Israeli invasion or push in the Gaza Strip is worse than the Indonesian massacre of 1965 to 1966. Let's see, 1971 Bangladesh, 1971 Bangladesh genocide. Pakistani soldiers and local pro-Pakistani militias killed between 300,000 to 3 million Bengalis, and between 200,000 and 400,000 Bengali women, in a systematic campaign of mass murder and violence. The current invasion into the Gaza Strip is worse than this. Deaths. How do you have death figures that are this wide? 300,000 to 3 million? Okay. So current thing is worse than that. Cambodian. How many people died in this? Let's see. It resulted in the deaths of 1.5 to 2 million people from 1975 to 1979, nearly a quarter of Cambodia's population in 1975. Nearly a quarter. That's 1/4. That's 25% for people keeping track at home. Okay. Apparently the current Gaza Strip invasion is worse than the Cambodian. The 1984 Sikh died. What about this one? Was a series of organized pogroms. Government estimates project that about 2,800 Sikhs were in 3,000. Not okay, worse than this one for sure. Fashizi. Guatemala died. Deaths, silence period, 162,000 total. Civil war was 200,000 total. Seeing what's going on over there. How many people died here? Why is there so much death and killing over in Indonesia? What are you guys doing over there? Damn. This place sounds kind of fucked up, I'm going to be honest. Estimates of the total dead from the war range from 100,000 to 300,000. Okay. What about Rwanda? I don't know. This is a 94. 500,000 to 800,000 Tutsi deaths. My God. Yeah, I don't even think, wait, were any of these in Africa? Indonesia, Bangladesh, Cambodia. The Sikh genocide, this was Indonesia as well. Guatemalan, and East Timor. So we're not even scratching the surface of. We haven't even gotten to Africa yet at all. We haven't even gotten to Africa at all yet. Okay. Anyway, we haven't even gotten to Africa at all. August, make this a clip. This is a ridiculous statement. So what did he say? I'm sorry. People keep telling me to look up Mao's China. Oh, wait, I was going to say, I was only looking at stuff after the Holocaust. This was after the Holocaust. Wait, that's all fair game, actually. You're totally right. The Great Leap Forward and the Holodomor, that is fair game. No, that is all fair game. I don't, yeah. Wait, this is such an unbelievable statement.
I'll just say, I think it's the worst thing we've seen since the Nazis. And I don't even think that's controversial if you just look at empirically look at the situation.
What empirics? Kyle, I'm not even trying to be mean here, okay? Holodomor was before, the Holodomor might have been in the 1917? That actually might be true. Hold on. Wait, I don't remember the Holodomor, what year that was. No, 1930s. My bad. What is sitting out in 1917? That might be Armenian. Around this time period. It was like 1910s, whatever. Took them a while. A lot of Armenians to go. Okay. Holodomor was 1930, 1930. Sorry. Holodomor, that's off the list, okay? My bad. Holodomor was 30s, okay?
Let's look at the facts. I think it's the worst thing we've seen since the Nazis. And that's why the younger generation is in the U.S. is not having it. And they are revolting. And there, literally, you have Arab Americans and Muslim Americans revolting, and we'll do a story on that a little bit later. But, man.
This is what I mean when I argue against people when they bring in words like genocide and apartheid and blah, 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 blah. All they're doing is, like, they're just, like, it feels like they bring in a bunch of, like, morally loaded words so that they can make statements. Like, is this really the worst thing that's happened since the Nazis? Truly? Is it really the worst thing since the Nazis? Also, this is what Jews mean when they say, why do I feel like we're held to a different standard than everybody else? Right? This is what Jews mean when they say that. When people say, like, this is the worst shit since the Nazis. Truly? Is that a real take or is that an American take where the only regions in the world you know about are what show up on U.S. News? Like,
it is mostly bad news. That's clear. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe.
Lichen? How does he know about lichen? Are you implying that Kyle Kulinski is being anti-Semitic? I don't think so. So here's an issue. I'm going to sympathize. All of these debates are making me... are rotting my brain, okay? If you were to cut my head off right now and slice my brain in half, I feel like you'd start to find the Jewish flag there, okay? For me, the Israeli flag, okay? Is it anti-Semitic? I don't think so. I don't think that's a motivation for it. But, like, if I was Jewish... and every single time you were critical of ISIS or Al-Qaeda or the Taliban or Iran or Pakistan or Saddam Hussein or Assad or the civil war happening in Yemen or anything, and every time you do that, people are like, oh, wow, you're Islamophobic. Oh, wow, you're racist. Oh, wow, looks like you hate brown people. Oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. And you're like, okay, I don't think necessarily, but okay. And now people are like, Israel is a state, okay? Israel's everybody. This is the worst that's ever happened. These people are filthy dogs. The way that they rape and... Whoa, bro, that's a little... Whoa. I'm just talking about Israel, okay? I'm not talking about Jews. Okay? I just mean Israel, like the country. There's a lot of good Jews. For instance, like the ones that hate Israel. It's like, do I think that the left or a lot of the driving sentiment on the left is anti-Semitic in nature? I don't think so. Not, at least not so far from what I've seen from anybody. I don't think it's, like, driven by anti-Semitism. But at some point, god damn, it bleeds into what feels like anti-Semitism really quickly, right? Yeah.
With the acumen of a historical raconteur, Destiny unfurls a tapestry of past calamities, challenging the hyperbolic assertion that Gaza's plight rivals the ominous specter of atrocities. Like an erudite alchemist transmuting historical ore into argumentative gold, Destiny invokes the Indonesian mass killings, the Bangladesh genocide, and the Cambodian cataclysm, delineating events of greater historical gravity. The verbal tempest intensifies as Destiny, with the precision of a linguistic surgeon, dissects the morally charged lexicon employed by Kyle. He underscores the potential distortion wrought by words like apartheid, cautioning against the linguistic tempest that can obfuscate the somber reality on the ground. Destiny, a linguistic Houdini, unravels the nuances between criticism and vilification, entreating a more measured dialogue amidst the cacophony of impassioned rhetoric. In his quest for analytical clarity, Destiny unfurls the vexing question of the Israel-Palestine discourse's resonance in the American soundscape. He posits a Socratic inquiry into whether the fervor of the younger generation's activism is molded by the media's selective amplification of certain narratives. Destiny, with the sagacity of an Athenian philosopher, probes the matrix of influence shaping the perceptions of the American polity. Turning his discerning gaze to the thorny issue of Jewish scrutiny, Destiny navigates the labyrinth of sensitivities surrounding Israel. Like a cultural spelunker, he traverses the caves of perception, acknowledging the fine line between legitimate critique and the siren call of antisemitism. Destiny, with a rhetorical lantern in hand, illuminates the complexity of traversing this intellectual minefield, where the boundaries between critique and prejudice blur like shadows in the twilight. The advent of platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and their ilk has heralded an era where information dissemination transcends traditional boundaries, casting a digital net that spans the globe. Yet, in this virtual coliseum, the role of social media is not merely a conduit for the dissemination of information, it is a formidable saper of public narratives, an arbiter of truth, and a herald of both enlightenment and misinformation. One cannot traverse the digital agora without encountering the pervasive influence of social media on public perceptions. The rapidity with which information traverses these platforms has bestowed upon them an unparalleled power to frame and mold public opinion. A tweet can be a spark that ignites a wildfire of discourse, and a viral post can birth a zeitgeist that permeates societal consciousness. In this digital amphitheater, ideas, ideologies, and narratives engage in gladiatorial combat, and the victor often emerges not by virtue of truth but by the sheer force of virality. The democratization of information dissemination, a laudable tenet of the digital age, bears both the allure of empowerment and the burden of responsibility. Citizens, armed with smartphones and Wi-Fi, become both consumers and purveyors of information. However, the elixir of empowerment carries a caveat: the veracity of the information disseminated becomes contingent on the discernment of the disseminator. In this landscape, the role of gatekeepers is blurred, traditional journalistic authority diluted by the deluge of user-generated content. Social media, with its algorithmic prowess, creates echo chambers and filter bubbles, tailoring content to suit individual preferences and reinforcing existing beliefs. This algorithmic curation, while providing a tailored experience, engenders a paradox: the amplification of confirmation bias. Users are fed a diet of information that aligns with their pre-existing views, fortifying ideological silos and contributing to a polarized information landscape. The rise of influencers, denizens of this digital coliseum, further underscores the transformative influence of social media on public perceptions. These cultural arbiters, often wielding charisma more potent than traditional authority figures, curate lifestyles, opinions, and even political affiliations. The lines between authentic advocacy and commodified influence blur as individuals and entities leverage their online personas to sway public sentiment. The weaponization of information, epitomized by misinformation and disinformation campaigns, adds a nefarious dimension to social media's role in shaping public perceptions. Malevolent actors exploit the inherent vulnerabilities of these platforms, disseminating falsehoods with viral potency. The consequences are tangible, from the manipulation of electoral outcomes to the fomenting of social discord. In the twilight of his discourse, Destiny, like a rhetorical maestro, orchestrates a symphony of nuance. He acknowledges the emotional toll, the labyrinthine complexities, and the elusive nature of a constructive dialogue on this geopolitical quagmire. Destiny, a linguistic maestro, concludes his oratory with a plea for intellectual temperance, yearning for a discourse untethered from hyperbole and anchored in the bedrock of nuanced understanding. In the annals of intellectual pugilism, Destiny stands as a formidable contender, armed not with swords, but with the razor-sharp edge of rhetoric and historical allusions. His critique of Kulinski echoes through the corridors of dialectical discourse, an invitation to untangle the Gordian knot of geopolitical complexity with the threads of historical perspective and linguistic precision.